We spoke to Frederika. Frederika is the happy speaker, and let's see what Frederika had to say. All right, Frederika, thank you very much for joining us. Could you briefly explain to us what is it that you do?
Okay, yes. I'm the happiness speaker, so I work in schools, businesses, charities, any organisation really that needs to do a bit of work on the happiness either of its employees or in the case of a school, its pupils and its staff. I'm also the co-founder of a programme called Resilience Wellbeing Success, which is a programme that runs for about 11 weeks in primary schools. That launched in September last year and has been hugely successful so far, with some schools having booked us for multiple year groups in the first academic year of running the programme. So really I work on helping people to be happier, to achieve more in life, and to enjoy life more as well along the way.
All right. So in your opinion, what is the power or what is the key to actually achieve happiness?
Well, I think the key is probably, there are lots of things you can do, but the key is to not expect happiness to just be a constant state of being joyful and chirpy and everything being fantastic in life, because that's just not how life works. Life is inevitably full of ups and downs, and so part of being happy, I think, is an acceptance that there will be highs and there will be lows. The key to really being able to be happy throughout life is to actually accept that the lows are there, and to know that even when you are experiencing a low, and some of those lows can be very, very traumatic, things like bereavements, disasters, etc., but that even when you are in those very, very low periods, that it's okay to feel like that. It's perfectly normal, that you should allow yourself to feel absolutely devastated when something devastating happens to you, but that you know within yourself that sooner or later you will be okay again. It may be a new kind of okay, it may be a very different kind of okay to how you were before, but you will be okay again, and you know that because you know that you have the tools to make that happen when you're ready to do so.
All right. And in that time, or when you're happy, do you think money play a part in that role?
It's a really interesting question, that, because it's possibly the most debated question that psychologists keep looking at when it comes to happiness. And loads of studies have been done on this. So, for example, a study in the US in 2010 said that money buys you happiness up to a certain point. So once you reach a certain salary level and you're comfortable, happiness then plateaus and you no longer get happier as you keep piling on more money. But then there was a contradicting study to that in 2013 that found that actually there is no such plateau. So it does really vary. But then there was some research that I think puts that really into context, and that certainly ties in, I think, with my experience and the experiences of the people I talked to. This was in 2014, and they looked at the effects on happiness of how you spend your money. So do you spend your money on experiences or do you spend it on material possessions? And they found that sometimes people won't spend the money on a lavish holiday, for example, because they think, oh, it's too extravagant. I'll spend the money on sensible things instead, so possessions that you need and that are useful. But what they actually found is that in terms of the effect on happiness, when you're buying experiences, the effect is much longer lasting. And that's for two reasons. One, because you have the memories from those experiences that you can look back on for a long time, and they give you a lot of pleasure and make you feel happier. But also because of the sense of anticipation as well that comes with planning for those experiences. So if I give you an example, I booked my summer holiday with my family this last weekend, and I am going to annoy everybody that I come into contact with between now and then. My husband's already sick of me because I just keep saying, why are you not excited? I'm jumping up and down. I'm so excited. For me, it's the anticipation of 2 weeks spent with both our daughters, with my husband in Italy, doing all the things that we enjoy and eating all the wonderful food, and combined with the fact that our eldest daughter is going to university in September. So to me, it's like a really big deal, this family experience before our eldest daughter effectively leaves home. So that anticipation is really going to last for months. And then you've got the fairly short-lived short-lived pleasure of the actual experience itself, but then the memories obviously will carry on for years. So that's where I think the money buys happiness debate really comes down to, that I think money itself doesn't buy you happiness. If you haven't got enough money to live, then of course it's going to contribute to you being unhappy, because you do need certain essentials in life, such as being able to feed yourself and to be safe and secure.
Yeah.
Once you have more than you need for your essentials, then it buys you happiness if you use that money for experiences. And another way in which it does that is if you actually spend the money on what psychologists would call prosocial spending, so spending on other people, helping others.
All right. So you just spoke about spending. Some people say that if used appropriately, a person could actually achieve happiness by spending money. How do you think, or could you give us any idea as to how someone could do that? You mentioned a few things already, but...
Yeah, so obviously experiences are really key. So I think that's why things like, red letter days and all of those kinds of things are quite popular in terms of gift experiences, buying somebody something for a birthday that they're really going to take amazing memories away from. But the other thing is what I just touched on there, the kind of prosocial spending, so donating money to a charity, for example. But it can be really simple things like, treating a friend to lunch, for example. As an example, one of my drivers when I think in terms of, the more money I make as my career develops, what do I want to do with it besides the sort of selfishness of having more experiences with my family and the people I love? I think about the charities that I would like to support. Both my daughters have had open heart surgery at Birmingham Children's Hospital, so I always try to fundraise for Birmingham Children's Hospital, and I always put something in every year. And sometimes I use that in terms of when I do speaking engagements. Sometimes I ask people to pay me partly in donations to Birmingham Children's Hospital, and that makes me feel wonderful. It gives me that lovely glow inside, and I think we all feel that when we do something for somebody else. So that's a really good way to spend money that can actually make you feel really happy, and at the same time obviously is helping other people.
The happiness speaker, Frederika Roberts, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us. Great talking to you.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Raza.
Thank you. All right, that was Frederika Roberts we spoke to earlier, and she's called the happiness speaker, speaking about what actually makes you happy and what is it that some people define as happiness. A few things she mentioned, and these are like, maybe the smaller things in life that people wouldn't expect, treating a friend out to lunch, which you probably want to do later on with me, but...
No, I mean, I found some of what she was saying quite similar to Islamic teachings, actually.
Yeah.